bellular. And as I said, can we really trust Dragonflight's story? And I've been saying this for probably years now. Well, at least a year. No, you cannot. Because Shadowlands. Blizzard really hidden idols. I already know what it's about. Okay, but before we go, as usual with my reactions, I will always read the comments first to be biased against the video or for the video. We'll see. Usually against. But let's see what people are saying. I disengaged during Shadowlands. Over the years, I bought a bunch of books, even though the Chronicles books had stayed subbed through so many bad times. But once they finally dropped the pretense and revealed that characters are there only for the game... Did they? Okay. And plot or story is relevant. I don't remember them doing that, but yeah, I left. I always disliked Sylvanas, as an example, but she made sense up until BFA, when she became a moron, and every other character had some sort of brain malfunction. I would say in BFA, because of the book, Sylvanas made sense up until probably the Ajara stuff. Up until then. I don't need a lot from a game story, but if it leaves me feeling like I've been taken advantage of or wasted your time basically completely because the story just went to shit. It's like, if you're watching Game of Thrones, which I love using this example because Steve Denuser is loved Game of Thrones season 8. So if you're watching Game of Thrones, you should have quit at like season 6, basically. I'm out. I watched the channel because I really enjoyed the presentation, but I'm not even slightly tempted to pay another $1 to Blizzard. The only value Blizzard has to me now is the value of the Chronicle books on eBay in about 20 years, when people are nostalgic about that game company that disappeared into Microsoft. Yeah, this might actually be a good investment. 20 years, those Chronicle books might actually be worth something if no one says them anymore. As long as Steve Denuser is steering the Warcraft story ship, everyone should constantly wear their life jackets, so you are ready to jump ship at any moment. But there's a silver lining to all of this. Denuser have said Dragonflight is his baby. No. I mean, yes, but it's not Denuser who said it. I believe it was Towley who said it about Denuser, where he have had full control in the story. So if the story once again sucks, then this time he can't scapegoat someone else once that ship runs into... I mean, he will. He'll blame the dev team for not allowing him to actually portray his story. Like, it's totally possible. The answer is no. I'm sure the leveling will be fun and the zone-specific stories will be good. But the A-plot will likely make people sad. I do believe that the people in charge of the main storyline are genuinely horrendous writers. Okay. Well, we know where this is going, so let's see.
Here's the spicy one. Dastil dropped as a superset. There seems to be a lot of good, hopefully, going on for a while with Dragonflight. I'd agree with that. And now for another thing we agree.
The only good thing that Dragonflight has going for it that is actually good was dragon riding, which they nerfed Soar for. And as far as like content, loot, and all that stuff goes, they haven't added and they haven't really changed anything useful. So it's like they don't really have anything really going for them, especially in terms of story. But as far as content goes, they're gonna have the same standard content. Big maps, open world, kill mobs. Talent trees are pretty dog shit for some specs, especially Paladin. And then you have dungeons, raids, and PvP, which again, unless they fix the loot system, but the thing is they won't fix it because they don't think there's a problem with the loot system, then it's gonna be the same dog shit expansion.
On. But can we really trust the story to be good, the lore to be treated good? Stick around for the bit on the whole Ysera thing later on, because that's a great example of it is technically possible this could work really well, and that this character would probably do that in this situation. But is it satisfying? And that is the troublesome thing. I guess I'll say my personal take in this.
Would Belfurion sacrifice himself to bring Ysera back? Characteristic-wise, yes. Story-wise, no. Like, the reasoning is bad. Like, the way he got there is bad. Would he do it naturally just by, like, what his character is? Sure. Probably. But, it's like, there's no build-up to it. Like, there's nothing that leads to that assumption.
it's simple enough, really.
Mm-hmm.
There's lore in multiple resolutions. I think that the zone stories, the zone A plots, and this is something that I experienced
Probably are
going through
okay.
the Honor and Plains on stream. It was real quick. Like that
Sure.
A plot, if you just follow the campaign quests, real quick.
Okay.
But then once you start to do the side quests, those actually, in some cases, have one or two little mechanics. They have the nice, the nice little personal stories that actually make you like the world and the people in it.
Sure.
That's what's there, and that was really nice. So,
but the question is, does anyone really care about that? Does anyone really care about the side stories of the world, like the world building quests? Like, does anyone really care about it? Why isn't the world being built with the main story? Right? I don't think people would care if leveling took a bit longer, but as long as the story was captivating enough, I don't think people would really care. Right? It's like, yeah, you want to learn about the dragonflight, stuff like that. If the story is really quick for the main story, which is like the dragonflights, that means the story is really not going very deep into it. So it's like, don't care. Neither
what I
did
can
they.
say is those smaller stories, I mean, obviously some will be better than others, but those have generally felt really good. They felt like they're fleshing out these zones, and these zones are cool places to be in with characters that are, I don't want to say likable, like every character has to be, like good characters, whatever.
Sure.
But it is the big narrative. Where are they pushing everything? Because that's essentially the thing. I have faith that when given a zone to put lots of nice little stories in, that they can do that. They show that they can do that with the side quests of Zareth Mortis, which were like way more emotionally satisfying than the A plot, to be honest.
Way better.
Great.
Way better, yeah.
I actively
That's
got
really
mad
sad,
whenever
though.
I had to do a campaign quest again. I was just sitting
That is
there
really
enjoying
sad.
all like the little people in line. And
Imagine the side story is more appealing than the main story. Like, how bad are you at writing? Where like the main story is just not the main appeal. I don't know. It's weird.
like how they were talking to each other about like leaving their clans behind and finding this like new purpose here in this spot. And then I just kind of was finished all those and did a campaign and saw Bolvar, went fuck, it's Bolvar again, shit.
Yeah, it means that suddenly everything will feel stiff and weird.
Yeah.
Compared to those little side quests. I'd say generally I enjoyed the A plot of Honor and Plains, and I only did a little bit of the content, but like there's that quest with the big dog that everyone likes, and it's likable. And there's another one where there's
Yeah,
a
sure, it's a
character,
dog.
she's
It
got
has
like
to
a
be
secret Kodo she's taking care of, and it's like a nice little story.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So it's like all that could be great. I'm still worried about the big lore.
I feel like those like side stories are like the easiest. I don't want to say gotcha. Like they're not really gotcha, but like they're the biggest, like the easiest thing to make people attached to or like enjoy, because it doesn't have to be extremely serious. It doesn't have to have anything really to do with the main story, and you can use super cliche stuff that people can just relate to. It's like helping a dog find his owner, or helping the owner find his dog, and then the dog was like beaten or whatever, and like taken to be someone's meal, and then you save the dog, and the dog is like super happy. A lot of people will get emotional about that, but that's just a cliche thing. It has nothing to do with like, wow, really. It has nothing to do with the main story.
I am more satisfied with WoW as a playable game than I have been in a long time.
But you haven't done Endgame. Everyone's satisfied with the new expansion release and new zones and stuff like that, but like Endgame, loot, you're not going to be satisfied with it because nothing changed.
But I'm worried about the lore, because even though patch 9.2.5 I thought was great from a narrative perspective, given where we were going into it.
It was great in comparison to like the shit show that happened, so it was finally good-ish, but overall it was stupid as fuck, but yeah.
The jailer still is the jailer.
Yep.
How they handled N'Zoth still is how they handled N'Zoth.
Yep.
And at least with Ysera, they have a needle to thread. So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Sebastian, don't you guys enjoy quality writing provided by the... Oh dear, yeah, breaking up that Steve enjoyed the 8th season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
The 8th season of Game of Thrones
It's
is
the biggest meme. It is the biggest meme about Steve Denuser that he enjoyed season 8 of Game of Thrones. By the way, I didn't hate it, but it was more like riding on the coattails of the previous seasons. It wasn't like the season was good. It wasn't that it was bad. It's just that it was running on the coattails of all the previous seasons, and it just gave conclusions-ish to everything in the series, not necessarily satisfactory conclusions.
Just going in a weird direction that you didn't establish. That's like one thing. Yep. It's not putting the work in. It's going straight from big plot point to big plot point, not chewing the fat and stuff.
Yep.
Right? And just it is having unearned moments.
Yep.
A lot of the very just honestly the fallacies of a lot of modern storytelling, and to be honest, like everyone knows that. I mean, you know, here's the. Hopefully, Steve doesn't believe that anymore, because I mean, yeah, if you're working in storytelling and you think the 8th season of Game of Thrones is good storytelling, then you know I've got fucking news for you. Unfortunately,
wasn't Steve the Nuzzer like the like? Is he even a storyteller though? Like, isn't his thing about like how to get money from players? It's like, wasn't that like his big thing? I don't remember what it was. He made like a presentation or something about like how to like milk the player base for their money. Some shit.
I mean, you even look at the drama that happened with those two guys. Oh, yeah, like they basically wrap Game of Thrones as quick as they fucking can because they have some sort of big Star Wars project to do.
They just
to do with Disney. So like to the point where HBO are just saying like, we'll give you more seasons, we'll give you more episodes, please, more episodes. And they're like, no, we're finishing it in 7. Bye. And of course they fuck that up to the degree where then of course they lose their shit with Disney, which is fucking hilarious. So that's some real that's some funny shit. But yeah, I mean, should that not be a cautionary tale of like the obvious things to?
But that shows like work ethic is important, man. Like just because you have other shit to do while you're doing this shit, give it 100%. Don't just like, kind of like, well, I already got applied to a new job. Like they are hiring me, and this job I have the last 2 weeks, but I'm not gonna put in any effort. And then, it's like the new place finds out. The new place finds out, and it's like, yeah, you know what, buddy, we don't actually want you. I guess there's something like that.
Pitfalls to not do, whereas WoW has kind of ran into a whole bunch of those pitfalls by just zipping from point to point to point, not letting anything lie, and in the way that Game of Thrones started with a big world, and then by the end the world of Game of Thrones within the TV version
it was about 8 characters, like
it was fucking 2 characters, and it felt 10 feet across. People are fucking zip, 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 teleporting across the world whenever the plot needs them. The whole thing's just a total piece of shit. It's insane. And then with WoW, it's like, the more that they have their A plot feel like an AI generated summary of the Wikipedia plot summary of what the A plot should have been, the worse that it is.
Whoever's writing the A plot, fuck them out to hell and get the people who write the side content to do the big content.
Actually, on that, Arcanist Tazika has a super set. They can deliver moving, engaging story in side content, but have issues with large arcs. Why do you think that is? I think it's fundamentally because they don't give themselves the storytelling tools or the storytelling time that a game like FF14 gives itself, because FF14 does that at the sacrifice of the MSQ being the MSQ, and I think Blizzard know that a lot of their players are going to struggle with a lot of dialogue in that way, because they play WoW and brains off, everything's a fucking cross dissolve. So there's like a little bit of that. I also think that, you think about where does stuff the best? Well, it's best when you kind of have like decentralized command. So it's like, here's a cool zone, here's generally what's going on. Right, side quests, go make them. And those side quests, like, they get to be someone's baby. There's far less of a too many cooks situation.
I kinda agree, overall. You have the main story, like the main plot point of the zone. You finish that, and then it's like, here you go, play around with this area. This is the background story of it. Play around with it, and then you can make the side stories kind of like pretty much whatever you want them to be, and you can make them as fun as you want them to be. Like I think that's pretty much how you wanna address side stories, as well as like tell like a mini story about the zone, stuff like that. But having the main story be dog shit and then just like have good side stories, it's like it just doesn't feel good, you know. And like the side stories, to some extent, I think the side stories should still, to some point, relate to the main story of the zone. It's not like you can just like go do like completely random shit. It has to do something like, how is the main story affecting these zones and these side quests, kind of thing.
I would say. And that's why those things I think have ended up being so successful, because they do really feel like somebody actually, did craft them. Rainer Phoenix Heart, I wonder if side quests are better written because they're done by writers, not pre-plotted years in advance for programmers. No, I mean, so-ish. So here's the thing, like it is the narrative designers, director, whatever, that, does plot out the big narrative, not programmers. And actually, writers tend to not do the the in-game stories. I think those are usually quest designers, but ultimately the reason why those work, I think, is just because like a small number of people can have ownership over one quest, and they can really just put all their love and their passion into that one thing. So
Okay, so you're saying that the guys who write the story don't have anything to do with the quest design? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The quest design has to be looking at the story and designing the quest based on the story. Right, I'm not talking about like necessarily the side quests. The side quests should have some relation to the main story. Like the ones who are designing side quests should know what the main story of the zone is to kind of get a context of what the side quests can be like. But as far as I don't like, maybe I just misunderstood him, but like I feel like the guys who are designing the quest should know the main story and build the quests around that. And I feel like the text in the quest line should come from storytellers. Not necessarily from like they can develop the quest and how it works, but like the quest text should be from the storytellers, because like that's what they're there for.
You just get a clear vision, and it's like whenever that clear vision of a story or of a character, whenever that resonates with you, that's when you just have a really strong moment that works. And I think that's why the side quests, generally, I think do pretty well. Arcanist Tazika does have a super saying, strong emotional reactions seem to be something Blizzard is good at evoking. Granted, they're usually strong at the producer rather than the story, but see, that's the thing. And that is the troublesome problem they have, because, like Star One is...
Look at like even like the Dragonflight, like I would agree with this. Look at the Dragonflight cinematic, right? It doesn't really tell you much, almost of anything, and it's like this one stone giant just wakes up and climbs the tower. Obviously, it was kind of obvious he's gonna fall, and it was kind of obvious he was gonna be saved. But at the same time, it does evoke a certain emotion where it's like you're following this character, you understand what he's doing, you understand what he's trying to do, and you understand that he's the last of his people. Even though they're not really people, they're stone giants. And then it's like it would be sad because he's the last of his people fulfilling his purpose, and then he just dies, and that would be sad, but then he gets saved. So again, it's not like it's super cliche. It's not something like extraordinary, and it still evokes emotion because, and I would say the reason it evokes emotion is because it's not new, and everyone knows this. Everyone like expects this to happen, but it's just such a nice thing.
Like really, it's enjoyable from a plot perspective.
Some fiddles.
Warcraft.
I'll finish this and I'll go on Discord.
3, I think, really works from a plot perspective. But generally speaking, Blizzard have never been like the most awesome storytellers ever, right? Now a lot of people seem to think that they are or something, but no, they've always been very simple and very cheesy.
Yes.
And we might try to be all high and mighty about things, but no.
Yes, the story in game was always simple and cheesy, but at least it followed the main background story. It's kind of like you watch a TV series of like, let's say, a detective show, and there's this guy who's helping the detectives, but his main goal is to find the guy who killed his family, right? That's why he's actually helping the police with other shit. And like you almost never get episodes about the main backstory, but then when you do, it's like it's progressing the main story in the background, right? Simple and cheesy is good. Yeah, I agree. Simple and cheesy is good, but like you have to make it, you have to make it worth. It's like even like simple and cheesy. There still has to be a main background story, regardless that it progresses. And with WoW, it's more like just random bits of stuff. Like it's kind of. I would say, like they did okay with the Legion background story. Ended it a bit abruptly, obviously, but it's like they did okay because there was always a slight progression. There was always a slight hint. Like every episode, like every expansion, there was like a slight hint about the Legion. Well, kinda. Even Mop, which had nothing to do with the Legion, had like some Legion guys in like a random place, right? Think of goddamn, I want to replay it.
They created an RPG.
You never even finished playing it. Or you want to replay God? Speaking of God, I would damn want to replay it.
RPG setting that was just quite fundamentally enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
They were never. At no point have they really ever been doing what Ishikawa's doing.
No, nor have they been trying to.
And nor have they been trying to. So why have we enjoyed it regardless? Well, it's because actually it was just they made a world that was really fun with loads of appeal. And that's what they were trying to do. But then what happens is we all have experiences in... It used to be good cheese. Yeah, that's definitely true. The cheese ain't good anymore. But we all have like experiences and grew emotionally attached to that world. And now they're in a situation where, we care about that world so much because some of us have been knocking around there for, 20 years here in some cases.
Read a dozen books about it.
Right? So it's very hard to live up to that. Now that said, again... There's no excuse for the quality that we've had. The foolish mortals, pitiful mortals.
Oh God, the cliche villain is It's like, do you think you can win? You are nothing. You are nobody, and then you just fucking beat the fuck out of him. It's like, yeah, okay.
Stupid mortals, lazy mortals, late mortals. My plan has bad mortals. Bad mortals.
Oh,
your power is underwhelming. How did I lose?
Googled pitiful mortals and got a Reddit post titled "Pitiful Immortal: A Postmortem of Zavala Failure." I bet this is terrible. Maybe it's good.
Very good.
All right. Yeah. Okay, that's the video. Yeah. Okay. So even they don't really have much faith in the main story going. I still on likes. Yeah. Anyways, that's the video. Yep. And we'll go to the next one a bit.